Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
This ball is out of here.
No one wants to come to the bank, Dallas. They won't lose a fucking game, Dallas. The Fightins. We're talking about the Fightins. The Philadelphia Phillies. Taking it to everyone who steps in their path at the bank. Joe, where's your towel? Give me the towel, Joe. Let's see the fucking, yeah, there it is, Joe. There it is. Oh, yeah. I would be fucking terrified if I had to go to the bank right now as an opposing player. Like, what the fuck? If you're the D-backs, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
There's nothing to do, Jared.
What do you can't. Like, if you show up at the I mean, by the way, Merrill Kelly.
Hey, Merrill Kelly, I'll tell you what happened. We've all seen the videos on the internet. Somebody's sniffing around the lion cage.
Someone stuck their dick in the beehive.
They're thinking, I can do this. I can tickle this lion right now. No,
can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Not in Philly, you can't. Maybe if he was starting game 3 or something. It's like, oh, we're going back to the desert. We'll see what happens in Phoenix. But to sit there and say, yeah, Philly, it's not really that loud, is it? How loud is it now, Merrill Kelly? How loud is it now? Hey, listen, I think it's totally unfair. I think it's totally unfair to sit here like this. This should be more about fluffing the Phils than beating down on the D-backs because, listen, an 84-win team, you got to give them credit for the path that they took to get to the NLCS in the first place, going through the division-winning Brew Crew, and then dismissing the 101-win LA Dodgers in a sweep. Their path has been impressive, but I just don't I don't see how they were ever going to be able to stand up to the Phillies who had home field advantage in this series.
It's not even about the home field advantage. There's one statistic. There's one that because we know pitching means what it means, especially in the postseason, what we have seen from the Phillies on the mound has been absurd. Just absurd. 54 punch-outs to 4 walks in the postseason.
Yeah.
That is absolutely stunning. So when you hear people talk about winning teams and why they win and you're only as good as the next day's starting pitcher, and that is exactly what they're talking about. That right there. And it's not just the starting pitching you're getting. Aaron Nola, sorry about dealing again. What's that? That's 3 dubs? 3 dubs this postseason for him?
Quietly, I guess, too.
Knocking on the door, I believe Cole Hamels with 4 is what I've seen.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels with 4, Cliff Lee with 3, all in one postseason. So Nola could very well, I don't see it happening, but he could probably log himself another W this series if need be, let alone if they end up making it to the final dance. And that is just an indication. And then, look, I even tweeted this out. The Phillies, and you said it too, Jared, the Phillies, there's hot, and then there's what the Phillies are doing right now and the heater that they are on. And that inning where, what was it, the 7th inning? Bohm with the fucking double down and out of the zone, right? Up the gap. Yeah, that's a pitch down and just a great piece of hitting, man. Tip your cap, it's a great piece of hitting. Bryson Stott ends up hitting a ball up in the air. You've got Evan Longoria, who spent like 3/4 of his adult life playing all-star baseball in the big leagues at third base. And the pitcher, who we know, get out of the way, let these players hit, blah, 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 blah. And you got the catcher Moreno. So everybody, that ball falls and finds grass, infield pop-up. And then Real Muto comes up and gets on top of a high heater run scoring knock. Like, so there's just
after getting hit, like he definitely got hit by that pitch. Like he's not the type of dude that's gonna fake getting hit by a pitch, but he wasn't gonna complain either. He's like, yeah, like I'll hang in.
Well, some Albert Bell shit. Like you get squared up, and he's like, nobody saw that. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm not going to first. I want to hit. I'm going to go ahead and hit. And, but I mean, like that is just I just felt like, you know what? Damn, man, because I was thinking the same exact thing. Like the Phillies they're getting it done on the mound. They've won all of the matchups. Obviously, they've needed to win, but they've done it in a fashion where you're just everything you need to happen, everything you need to line up. You know, it's the greatest night out you've ever had with you and the boys, right? Like shirt looks great, hair on point. Yeah. The music is just every song is hitting.
Smell good.
The bartender who absolutely she wants you to, like on top of everybody else in this building. Like just everything just continues to turn up aces when you need it to. And that's, man, dude, 10-0 getting smacked at the bank. Smacked.
And I mean, by the way, like it wasn't a bad start for Kelly. He gave up 3 bombs, but they were all solo shots.
3 hits.
And that's the thing. Thank you, Joe. That's the thing is, as much as we're, kind of talking shit to open the show, we're having fun. But for Merrill Kelly to say what he said, for him to stick his hand in the lion cage, he didn't get pulled all the way in. He didn't lose an arm. Like he's probably only got 2 fingers left. Like he didn't get out of there unscathed. But for him to incite that and still go out and ultimately give his team a chance, you tip your cap, because that's all you're asking for, I guess, in that spot. I mean, look, it's different. It's different if he gives up a 6 spot and doesn't make it out of the 3rd inning, right? But at the very end of his outing, he gives up that last run. So it's what 5 2/3, 4 earnings. It's not great. It's not great. But how many starts have we gotten out of starting pitchers this postseason that have gone where they've seen the 6th inning?
The Dodgers.
Well, everybody exactly. Merrill Kelly, he put that. You know what I mean? He put that ghost to bed against the Dodgers. He hadn't beat those people in 6 years.
Yeah,
and he was finally able to get that monkey off his back.
Yeah, the only hits he gave up were the home runs, as Joe said. 5 2/3, 4 earned, walked 3, gave up the 3 bombs, punched out 6. I mean, it obviously unraveled from there, another 6 runs. But to the point earlier about the Phillies lineup, like it's not the best comparison, but like looking at the Astros, they're down 0-2 in their series, and we'll get to that later. But Yordan Alvarez is on another planet right now. The rest of the Astros lineup is hitting like $140. With this Phillies lineup, they are just bludgeoning everybody. Like there's no, like obviously you have Nick Castellanos hit 4 home runs in 2 games. Now you have Schwarber with 3 home runs in 2 games. Like you look down the line.
Trey.
Yeah. Trey Turner hit a bomb tonight. Bryce Harper has got hit a home run on his birthday. Yeah. I mean, and then like even someone like Brandon Marsh just like contributing the way that he has at the bottom of the lineup. There's just you can't come up for air. There's no part of that line. There's no third of that lineup where like, at least if we get to this third, there's a weakness here. It doesn't exist. Like it just really like Bohm was probably the weakest link offensively out of all the starters. And then he breaks out tonight too. So
that's what I mean, dude. You got Bohm going down and getting the ball that he got. And so then you're like, oh, okay, all right. Well, look, Stott's the out here then. That's fine. And for all intent and purposes, he was the out.
2 knocks tonight.
It was an out. And not so much. And then fucking JT behind him. So that's, again, dude, it just every time that they've needed something to happen, they've made it happen. It's not, I mean, you can, I know Diamondbacks might want to quantify it as luck. I don't know that you can chalk last night up if you're listening to this on Wednesday. If you're listening to this tonight, I don't know that you chalk that up to luck, man. That is not, I mean, that's putting the ball in play.
Yeah.
That's doing exactly what you need to do in these moments.
So I think what we don't want to lose in the conversation, and Dallas highlighted this earlier, the 2 pitching performances that we got from Wheeler and Nola. But the home runs, Joe, what's the stat? The Phillies have hit more home runs than their pitching has allowed runs. Okay.
They've had more home runs than allowed runs.
Okay. So our friend Sarah Langs tweeted the Phillies have a plus 33 run differential so far this postseason. That's the highest run differential in an 8-game span in a single postseason.
I mean, what did they have this season? They had like an 80. They had like an 80 run differential.
80 run differential.
They're basically
taken
there.
care of that.
They're a third of the way there in 8 games. 16 home runs in 8 games.
16 home runs.
16 or 19? 19 home runs.
They had a plus 81 run differential.
Was that's like 2.5?
Season.
It's 2.5 bombs a game.
18.
Yeah.
18 home runs.
The Padres were plus 104 for those keeping score at home. So
imagine if they were in it.
Yeah.
Jay,
hey!
What up, baby?
Hey. What were your early? Actually, you know what? Before we get Jay Hay's thoughts, because they should be sponsored. Let's hit a read because we got 4 of them this show. Things are heating up in the ballpark, especially at the bank. The playoffs are underway, and the chase to crown a champion is on with DraftKings Sportsbook. You won't miss a moment of baseball action. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on baseball. Plus, all customers can take a crack at a sweet payday with DraftKings same-game parlays. String together multiple bets for a single game for your shot at a major payout. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code JARED, Jared. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on baseball. Only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code JARED. The crown is yours. I always get a rush of adrenaline anytime that I hit a parlay, especially like a same game parlay. But like, I'll be honest, having a same game parlay where you just take anyone in the Phillies lineup for like 2+ total bases or like to get a hit or to drive and run, like I don't feel very special. Like I hit my parlay for game 1 of the NLCS. I was just like, yeah, well, duh. Like what was it going to do? Not hit? Like what the fuck? So, I mean, if you're a betting man or woman, hop on the DraftKings Sportsbook and get in on the action with the fucking Phil's lineup because it's like taking candy from a baby right now. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. Opt-in and 10-plus leg requirement for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Jay Hay, your thoughts after the first 2 games of the NLCS?
A lot of thoughts. I mean, you guys have touched on a couple of them. I think my number one thought, I have 2 headliners, I think. Number one is that I'm really happy that Bryce Harper is kind of using this postseason to like come out nationally as a postseason star, because it never really happened with the Nationals and then they won without him. And his performance as a Philly in the postseason has been absolutely insane. And I think it's really the moments this postseason have been uniquely dramatic. And I think that's captured people's attention. Just for a little context on that, there have been 192 batters in baseball history who got 150 or more plate appearances in the postseason in their career. There's one person who has a higher career OPS than Bryce Harper, and that's Babe Ruth.
Never heard of him.
That's where he's at in the postseason right now. Like better than Ortiz, better than, like it's Ruth, Harper, George Brett, and Carlos Beltran. Like he is a postseason legend. The only thing the only thing that he's missing is the ring.
A trash can.
Whoa!
Yeah. Beltran had one. Stop, I'm just playing around.
And I'm hoping that this is the season where that happens. I don't know if Beltran had one back in St. Louis. So
I don't think he was on the postseason roster.
That'd be a brand new scandal. But
St. Louis
sorry,
or
throw some shade anyway.
Houston the first time. People forget,
Right.
like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, Beltran just, like, walked in on, like, his last year. Like, Beltran, in, what was it, 2004? He just fucking went off.
That was one of the great postseason runs of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's single postseasons. So Harper is number one. Number two is just, you guys touched on it, but to expand on the Nola Wheeler thing a little bit, like, as I was watching the Wheeler start last night, I thought and also tweeted, like, how many free agent contracts have played out better for the player and the team, but for the team than Zach Wheeler with the Phillies. And
the
I think
Scherzer Detroit one is like the only one that you can really.
I think the list is like 3 or 4 pitchers long in the history of baseball free agency. Like, that's how good Zach Wheeler has been over the last 4 years for the Phillies, which is kind of eye-opening to me, both about free agency and just about how awesome Zach Wheeler has been. And then the combination of Wheeler and Nola after tonight, like, I'm starting to think that we're going to have to look at the greatest, like, 2-pitcher combo runs in recent postseason history with how they're going. Like, I know Dallas threw out the K to walk for the team overall. Those two guys specifically have thrown 37 2/3 innings and have allowed 7 earned runs and have a 45-3 strikeout to walk rate. So, like, there's a throwback element to what the Phillies are doing a little bit with these 2 horses up front. I know there are other pitchers contributing and their bullpen's been excellent. I'm not trying to reduce it to just these 2.
And Strom. Shout out to Strom.
Ranger Suarez.
No,
Stromy. Stromy.
No,
Max
Ranger
Strom.
Suarez better though.
Or who's
we
that
saw
fucking
Suarez and the bullpen up close and personal in Game 1 in Atlanta. I know how special those guys are, but Wheeler and Nola are just having a kind of a 1-2 for the postseason ages, I think, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch it play out that way.
Twice. I don't want people to forget that.
Oh, and then also the single game regression to the mean of the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen, which had been like a linchpin of their success throughout this postseason. And they allowed more earned runs tonight than they had in the previous 6 games combined. So
not their 2
those
dogs,
are my thoughts.
though.
What's that?
Not their
Not their
dogs,
best.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but they
No.
gave that like to your guys'
They left
point. If we're
Baumgartner
gonna give,
on the bench, unfortunately. They didn't see their best stuff tonight. The Phillies, they got lucky, but he'll be ready for Game 3.
if we're gonna give half credit to Merrill Kelly for like not totally losing the game, then we have to recognize the fact that the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen completely let go of the rope and gave that any chance of a comeback of that game away.
Yeah.
After Kelly exited.
Yeah. I tweeted tonight that the D-backs look completely overmatched, and I thought that there was going to be more resistance to that thought because Game 1 was the score was close, like 5-3. That's a close game, but it never felt that close.
You know why?
Why?
Lead off Schwarbaum.
Yeah, you called it.
Once you hear lead off Schwarbaum, you're really fighting uphill.
Yeah,
It should be count for more than 1 run.
I agree. What I mean, you're the biggest Philly fan on the podcast, Joe. What have your impressions been?
Well, I can't speak on that. First game, I turned it off after the Schwarbaum.
Because you just knew it was over.
I knew it was over right there. The Schwarbaum. I mean, I don't forget the number, but the Bryce Harper had a single yesterday, but that RBI single on a pitch that he should never hit. It was an amazing hit. But before that, it was something like 11 straight solo homers from the Phillies.
Yeah.
Like they just hit home runs after home runs. Home run after home run after home run. What else is there to say? The biggest shocker to me is that what I was looking for is Tommy Pham clip of him talking shit to the fans who were probably being mean to him. We didn't get that.
Did that happen?
No, but like, don't you think that should happen? But what more obvious of a beef is there than a fucking 45,000 Neanderthals from Philly screaming at every player, and then Tommy Pham, who doesn't like being screamed at and talking shit to? That's just a recipe for a sick viral clip of him telling someone to go fuck themselves, like we saw Arcia, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, we're never going to get it because the series is not going back to Philly.
I don't know. I think fought in game 3 and then maybe bullpen game 4. Bring it back to our big guys.
I think part of the reason you didn't get much resistance about the Arizona thing or this series kind of being over is that I think the Phillies are just a uniquely likable team from a neutral baseball fan perspective.
Yeah.
Particularly the offense. It's a fun group. They've turned these last 2 postseasons into like they're the fun team. Like they're the team. I don't actually think they're a team of destiny, but they have that sort of vibe to them over the last 2 years.
You know what they have. You know what I think it's what the Baltimore Orioles want to be when that group grows up. The impact players that you see now in Philadelphia and how they've made their impact. Like you can see guys like that in the Baltimore lineup. And just because they're young and really across the board, like think about what Gunnar Henderson can be. I'm not telling you he's going to be Trey Turner, but you look at something like that and you think, well, that's a guy that could probably play a pretty big role in what they've got going on. Adley Rutschman. I'm not telling you that Adley is Bryce Harper or even JT Realmuto. I'm not telling you he's that dude, but I'm telling you that you give those dudes a little more seasoning under the postseason grill or on the postseason grill, and they're just gonna get tastier and tastier as they continue to rotisserize, as they continue to mature.
It's definitely a lineup full of guys who are friends with each other. They seem to be really good friends, the Phillies. I mean, I'm watching these and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I liked the Phillies. Like, there's no other team would want to like right now. Like, if your team was the Phillies, it would be fucking awesome.
And I'll say this, you know who is quietly responsible for this that I don't think will get the attention or get the acknowledgement because you're going to say, really? I mean, that's like 12th man-ish, 10th man-ish. But how about the Philly fans? Because with the Alec Boehm thing that happened with the, you know what I mean? He's running his mouth. I don't want to fucking be here.
No, he said, I fucking hate this place.
Or I fucking hate this place. That's right. Yeah, I fucking hate this place. And to his credit, he owned it. And to their credit, Phillies fans were like, you know what? Fair enough. We did it. Like we were all over you. We were because you were terrible. Yeah. Because you were terrible.
But then they won and he said, I fucking love this place.
Right. And so and you know what? All is right in the city of brotherly love. Yeah. And to what you're saying about Harper, too, the fun that he's having, Jay, in this city, like the Phillies being this fun team to watch right now. I think a lot of that has to, I mean, just the way he has embraced the city.
Yeah.
He's talked about it.
Well, because everyone sits there and watches what you're talking about, Dallas, and they're like, man, I wish I had that on my team. Or at least that's how I fucking feel. But I'm sure that there are definitely fans of other teams that are like, this is what we're missing.
This is what we want. I want a dude who wants to get a fucking Liberty Bell tattooed on his forehead.
Yes. Like I want a superstar player that's going to back it up in the playoffs, that's locked in contractually, that embraces the city and wants to win, not just for me. Like, because I think deep down, obviously, Bryce wants a ring for himself to bring validity to his legacy or whatever, but he wants to win a World Series for Philly. And when you go down the list, and I was thinking of this watching the game tonight when Schwarber went off, and then you just see like all the people like celebrating it. And I was like, you know, Philly is one of those markets that outside of Philly, no one wants to see Philly succeed, but so many people are riding with the Phillies right now because Kyle Schwarber has made a couple of stops now throughout his career. Every fan base has loved Schwarber wherever he's been. Nick Castellanos, like he's got Cubs fans riding with him, Reds fans riding with him, Tigers fans riding with him. Like there's just dudes from different markets. And then Trey Turner, like if you go back to the World Baseball Classic, if you were rooting for Team USA, that motherfucker was your shortstop and he went off. So it's like, it almost feels like, and then Bryce Harper, I get it. He is married to the city of Philadelphia, but the way that he was introduced to us at the age of 16 and then being the first overall pick, he's felt like he was ours as baseball fans for so long.
And think about this. what we've watched with Mike Trout and how things have unfolded for him, and the way that, as you just said, Jared, both of these guys were introduced to us, and the comparisons that were made year in and year out about who was great, who wasn't, what ground needed to be made up and by whom, and what things were going to look like. And Bryce Harper has just continued to go to work each and every day, continued to get better each and every day. And now, Jay Hay, it's him and fucking George hanging out in the OPS VIP. That's it.
What's the gap, Jay Hay?
It's 170 points. So he's got some climbing to do between him and Ruth, but
Not a ton. I mean, he could make that up in a fucking weekend.
How many playoff games did Babe Ruth play?
5. It sucks.
No, it was minimum 150 plate appearances on the search. So he had a decent sample. I mean, Harper's at like 200.
Allegedly.
I wasn't saying he didn't play. I was just curious.
No one saw it.
I think the Yankees made the playoffs a lot. Yeah. They're apparently a good team, I hear.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was going to say, I feel like the Phillies are an organization that is all moving in the same direction, too, in a way that's pretty unique in, like, the modern baseball landscape. Like, you have an ownership group that is, like, very interested and has backed up the interest in investing in the team. Like, almost the entire offense is imported via free agency or trade from other teams.
Shout out Davey Doms.
Right. And then that follows down to the Dombrowski level where like Dombrowski's approach of like, we're going to spend money and we're going to get good players on this team to try and win the World Series.
Seems like it works.
Yeah,
it works,
but it
and
doesn't.
I'm not letting him getting fired by the Boston Red Sox. I'm not letting that dilute the level of success that Dave Dombrowski's had.
I mean, it basically always does work. It just comes
forget
with,
what he leaves in his wake. It comes with a price tag. It comes with a price tag.
It's like this is gonna sound like sour grapes,
and you're okay with selling a guy like Mookie Betts to get you back into the good graces, right?
Idiot, no.
You're okay with doing that. No. Chaim Bloom had to do that. I understand. But Chaim Bloom got fired for doing that too, just like Dombrowski got fired for winning the championship. I can't figure it out over there in Boston. I don't know what's going on.
This is going to sound like sour grapes as a Red Sox fan. But everyone blowing Dave Dombrowski for spending someone else's money when several other teams tried the exact same thing and flat out failed. Like, pump the brakes on the Dombrowski.
Well, he did.
But he spent the money and won at every single stop. It's not
I give more credit to the players. Like you're playing in a market.
He got the right players. That's why you give him credit.
But this is this is the fourth organization he's been the main point man on that has either won the World Series or been on the verge of winning the World Series over a sustained period of time. Like his least successful run was the Detroit teams that are probably actually his best work as a GM. Like
Jared, it's this simple, right? You want to land the tin? Jared? Maybe it's going to come with a little burn when you pee afterwards, and you just know that. Yeah. But is it worth it?
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, 2018 was worth it. 5 years of chlamydia was worth it for 2018. I'll say that right now. Jake, do you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like we were talking about watching the 2020 Boston Red Sox, like one of the worst teams of all time. Like it was like a tour in Iraq. It was like thinking about that team and having to sit there and watch that team every single night. Like I don't think I have recovered from that season. And then we just followed it up with 2 last place seasons in 22 and 23. So listen, I get it. Credit to Dave Dombrowski for spending the money on the players that fit. But I mean, a lot of teams spend money. He picked the right players. You got to give him credit for picking the right players.
Yeah, that's the point. But you started this by saying
that he didn't do that.
No, because that's not the argument. Like people were saying, oh, look, he spent money. Give him credit. The credit should be he picked the right group versus he spent the money, because a lot of teams spent money and they didn't have the same results.
But I would gently push back on the idea that lots of teams are spending money. I actually think it's relatively fewer than it used to be in the landscape. So like, not only is he picking the right players every time he spends the money, but he's also like a little bit of a dying breed in that respect in the GM world, because like
he's a gunslinger, Jay. Hey,
yeah, and like I get it. There are consequences to winning in the present, but like what you guys just said 10 minutes ago was that every fan is looking at what the Phillies have right now and being like, I want that. And it starts with Harper. I get it. None of this is happening without Bryce Harper, but like there were lots of teams that had the chance to sign Bryce Harper. In fact, the Phillies weren't supposed to be the team that signed Bryce Harper. And all the other teams said, you know what? Inexplicably, we're good. And the Phillies were like, oh, cool. We can sign this guy for $1 billion years at like $28 million a year to be the focal point of the rebirth of this franchise. Awesome. And it's been one of the single best free agency decisions that any team has made over the last, like, what, quarter century?
Yeah, it does seem in hindsight that was a good fit. Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Now I'm thinking about I cannot think of a better fit.
Well, the way he has embraced what it has meant or what it means to be a part of the Philadelphia Phillies organization, that is what has, like, for me, that is what has been neck and neck with how he's performed this. But like, there's a strong correlation. He's comfortable. The city loves this dude, and he loves them back. And it's just all spilling out.
Yeah, the Phillies, if you just look at like the Phillies attendance this year compared to last year, just for them making the World Series, like I don't think there's another team that could get that big jump just from winning. Like it's a fan base that is really, they're behind the squad. Obviously, we've seen the clips.
We've seen the clips.
We've seen the guys with the decibels, 111 decibels. Everyone's like, yeah. Who the fuck knows what that means? But yes, it was loud.
It means it's loud.
111 decibels. That's insane. Yeah, dude.
Bryce Harper has been definitively better as a Philly than he was as a National when you look at the big picture. And like that to me is a little bit eye-opening because the standard was so high with Washington. He made the All-Star team 6 of 7 years. He had the massive 2015 MVP season that may still go down as his best season ever. But like on the whole, regular season, postseason, however you want to break it down, he's been better as a Philly than he was as a National. And like, I don't know, man. I just don't think we can appreciate Bryce Harper enough.
I agree.
We're trying to.
Yeah,
we're trying to.
We should do it again after they win the World Series too.
Yeah. I think like I hate how Mike Trout is getting dragged into the Bryce Harper narrative. Like, why can't it just be about Bryce Harper? Like, we got all these.
But I think there's a difference about it now. There's a different tone to it now, though, Jared, is because before I believe there was always a sense that you were looking down at Bryce Harper in that conversation. That is not the way the conversation's being held today.
Well, now it's the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like almost
100%.
like that was the biggest thing with Bryce Harper forever when he started. And he's not like he was shit when he came up, but it was like, you're not as good as Mike Trout, dude. And it was like, people were like looking at him as a disappointment because of Mike Trout. It's almost like fitting that now it sucks for Mike Trout because we love Mike Trout, but to keep bringing that up, like, what happened, Mike Trout? Because that was a huge thing for Bryce Harper when he came up. It made him look bad that Mike Trout was so good when it had really nothing to do with it.
Well, but again, we don't need to get into this, but like the context behind that, one, you have a kid who graduated high school early so he could go play junior college with a wood bat and then just take off from there. Then he was going to be your organizational
It's
savior.
not even that. It literally is one line in that SI story when they called Bryce Harper the LeBron James of baseball. That was it. Like, if they don't label him that, and they're just like, he's this prodigy, like he's the next coming of whatever, then I think it would have been a much smoother transition to whatever he became today. But when you label a guy the next, like the LeBron James of your sport, then you're expecting, he's gonna try and challenge the Jordan of our sport, which is fucking Babe Ruth, and here we go. Like he's doing that right now in the postseason.
Or when they hired like 20 paid actors to say, I saw him hit a 570-foot home run as a sophomore. Remember that bullshit?
Well, it rolled.
Yeah,
they counted.
Oh, yeah,
they
I
counted
think it
rolling.
rolled. Might have rolled.
Yeah,
570.
it might have rolled.
Tom Verducci should be ashamed. A journalist. Yeah, 570, sophomore in high school.
I mean, technically, it's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he did hit over a 500-foot home run in high school at the Trop.
That's true.
That
That is
happened.
true.
That's on video.
He's good at hitting home runs. I'll concede that point.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. But the whole dragging Mike Trout into this thing, it's like, I get it because it's
a revenge tour.
Yeah, but like, I don't think that Bryce gives a fuck. Like, do you think that Bryce sitting there?
No,
Yeah.
those are two different things. Fans or folks who are kind of like, wait and see. Let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see how the careers play out. He might be killing it now, but let's see how Trout finishes. Let's see how Harper finishes, and let's see how many rings they have at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. There's folks that have been in that camp and really on either side for a Trout and for a Harper. And now it's just feeling like the momentum is backing one guy significantly more than it is the other. And because momentum looks the way it does, because Trout has dealt with what he's dealt with the Angels and the Ohtani stuff and blah, blah, it just feels a lot easier to now say Bryce Harper has continued to perform regardless of the expectations he came into the game with. I mean, we're talking about a dude he's a 2-time MVP.
Yeah.
So to your point about being a LeBron type, again, LeBron can go from St. Mary's High School to the NBA and have an instant impact. Instant. That is just not happening in the game of baseball, especially at the big league level. And it's going to take more than one dude, not like it is in the NBA. It's going to take more than one dude to get that job done. So the comp is unfair from Jump Street. But to think that you're sitting here having this conversation now with 2 MVPs under his belt, and it feels like he's really hitting stride right now, that's something to be excited about. I think that's what.
Fun fact: by age 20, Bryce Harper, 2-time All-Star. LeBron James only had 1 All-Star.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I think the question, it's never going to be, when it's all said and done, who is better? That's not the question that you're going to ask. Like, it's going to be Mike Trout had the better statistical career. I think at the end of it all, the question that you're going to ask is whose career would you want? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and when you ask that question, I am somebody who would factor in the things outside of winning the championship. The love that he has if he retires a Philadelphia Philly, which you would love to believe is going to happen, the love and the connection that he has with that city, the memories he's already made in that city and will continue to make. Like, those moments are the things that Mike Trout right now wishes he had.
Mm-hmm.
Right now wishes he had. There are things in his trophy case he would exchange for those moments. And that's a fact. And when you start to evaluate what sort of career you would want, like, again, does Trouty give a shit whether or not you want to buy his jersey or not? I mean, maybe he does, but he's not getting an IG story out and telling you about why you need to. He's not that dude, right? He's building a fucking golf course with Tiger Woods. Like, the guy's doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
Just 2 different lives, man. 2 different worlds. But I think Harper, a lot of people look at the Harper career and think, man, that almost just feels fun. It feels fun.
Yeah. Especially the way that Trout's career has gone over the last few years with the injuries, where is sputtering a word that you could use? Like, because he's still very good when he plays, but I think you can say that he's been sputtering the last few years because he hasn't been able to stay healthy and be on the field.
Injury riddled, because sputtering, I think
it's sputtering because if you're averaging whatever it was for the first 10 years of his career and you're averaging 150 games plus a season, and then all of a sudden you're averaging like 65 games a year or whatever it is over the last few years,
well,
that's sputtering. Like, you're hitting a fucking absolute roadblock in because there was a point in time where we would have had a conversation about Mike Trout becoming the greatest player to ever play the game before Shohei showed up. Or just like mass total numbers. Mike Trout, it was like, all right, the second half, we're going to figure out, is this dude going to be the actual GOAT of our sport? To where now I don't think that's going to happen just because of the years lost in his prime.
Yep. No, that's yeah. And I would say I would choose injury riddled.
Yeah.
As opposed to sputtering, but I'm not going to argue because you're right. Like it is are we leaking oil? Right? Is engine 1 starting to go out? Engine 2, we're going to have to lean on coming around second in this part of our career. Where are we at? That's where the questions for Mike Trout come up.
Yeah.
And for Bryce Harper right now, you don't have those questions. The future for him looks great because you're thinking, man, if he can have fun like this 2 or 3 more times during his tenure here in Philly, that's going to be more than worth the paycheck.
Yep.
More than worth the paycheck. And again, there's a lot to be said, and you touched on it briefly. There's a lot to be said for him. I feel like if Bryce Harper could have spit in his hand and shook Dave Dombrowski's and said, we don't need to sign anything. Just make sure the direct deposit hits, and I'll be here at work every day from here on out. And he'd have been happy with that, keeping it that simple. No, I don't need the clauses. I don't need the phrases. I don't need any of that conjunction, junction, function. Just hit me with the paycheck and let's go get a ring for the city.
Jay, hey, when it's all said and done, both careers are completed. Whose career do you think you would choose? Bryce Harper or Mike Trout?
Harper. Because they're both going to be enormously wealthy. And to your point about no one is going to consider Mike Trout the greatest baseball player of all time at this point. And that doesn't mean that he's not would you rather be the 13th greatest baseball player in the history of the sport and have gotten basically robbed of those signature career flashbulb moments? Or would you rather be, the 45th greatest baseball player of all time and have everything that you could ever want in a career in terms of moments and memories, and also have lots of individual achievements as well? I just, to me, it's Harper.
Jay, hey, flashbulb moment for Mike Trout. The
Getting
catch
punched out by Shohei.
No. See, this is what I was going to say. As far as him being successful, flashbulb moment. The catch he made where his fucking Achilles is above the wall. I mean, is it that just that still frame? Because is there a huge postseason moment for Mike Trout that I'm missing?
No.
One home run.
I think
how about the
catch.
cold-blooded staring through the soul of Arcia at second base as he's hitting second base? Just everything blacked out, that moment for Harper.
Just kind of a stain. It's kind of disrespectful.
But you only get those moments if you're elevated to the platform that provides them, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Harper doesn't do that, and nobody really gives a fuck if that happens in June, right?
Nope. Nope.
But it matters because it's the only game in town right now, and it's competing for a championship. And would Mike Trout do that kind of thing? Almost certainly not. But but he's never been given the opportunity to do his version of those things, whether that is a stare down or just performance at the highest possible level, which is unfortunate because most of it's not his fault. But that's how it plays out.
I bet if you ask Trout, he'd much rather be Harper. Go to all the Eagles games and hang out with the Eagles players.
Yeah, he probably would.
Could you imagine what does a Mike Trout alter ego in the playoffs look like? Where he's just fucking pointing at people, cussing and shit, bat flipping, yelling at people. Could you imagine a Mike Trout losing his mind like that in a postseason environment?
No, and I think we would have seen it if that exists deep down. I think we would have seen it in the World Baseball Classic, and he was animated, but he wasn't like what Harper's doing.
No.
Blowing out his fucking birthday candles across the home plate.
Well, that's so sad. And remember, dude, both high school guys, but Harper legitimately is the version of the human being who came out of the womb and we're like, all right, you're just going to go to we're going to make you a baseball player side of life. That's what you're going to do. And here he is. He grew up to be this. He grew up in the game. He's grown up in this is what he does.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
good at it. Good at it.
Oh man, that is. I mean, it's about as cool as it is depressing at the same time. Like I feel bad for Mike Trout, but also like the comeback story for Bryce Harper's career trajectory is still very cool to watch. So
Yeah.
I don't
Hopefully
know.
they trade him.
Imagine they trade Mike Trout to the Phillies. Oh yeah, one last thing on the NLCS. Zach Gallen, I didn't realize he was Philly born and bred.
Yeah, Philly boy.
That must have been absolute hell being on the mound at the bank and they're like mockingly chanting your name as the Phillies just like tee off on you in the first inning.
That
That's
must
gonna be-
explain those double dick fastballs that he threw to start the game too.
Yeah.
Just wanted to give his hometown crowd a little something to get excited about. Here's a fucking
That happened, Jay. That happened so quick that I completely missed the Stott at bat in between. Like it was Homer Stott. Like I don't know if he even took his at bat. Maybe he was just like, "Fuck it, we'll let the next guy go." And then it was another pitch, another homer. This is 2-0. So how many pitches have been thrown? What happened? I was legitimately I had no idea what happened.
It was quick. It was quick and painless. They made it quick and painless for him. The Bryce Harper home run, I was laughing just because of the absurdity of just first pitch fastball to these two dudes that are up there hunting heaters. And it's like, you know what? That first one wasn't hit far enough. Here's another one, Bryce Harper, fucking bang.
Ah!
Yeah, that was something special. I want to see if I can find that video.
Yeah, if we could get a shot of the baseball going out of the park, it was like the old Baseball Tonight.
Here it is.
Fucking baseball, Jay Hay.
This is the Bryce Harper home run with no commentary.
How many decibels? That sounds like a 115, man.
That's crazy. I don't know. I mean, listen, these are professionals. These are the top of the top of the top of their profession. I don't know how, I don't care how professional you are to have to go into that environment and perform in these do or die games. I don't know how, I don't know how you do that.
I don't understand how you warm up. Like that would be the most distracting thing ever. Like trying to warm up and these freaks are screaming at you like how they do it. Like, I don't know. You have to ignore it, but you can't ignore it. You're thinking, ignore that in your head, telling yourself, ignore that. And you're not ignoring it. You're telling yourself not to ignore it. It's impossible.
It just becomes loud enough where you block it out. You compartmentalize. Whoop. It's noise is what you try to tell yourself.
You can't with that. You're already too late. You're telling yourself something. You should be telling yourself,
What?
Hey, slider. Let's get it. We got this.
Yeah.
You're thinking like he didn't just say that. He didn't just call my mom a bitch. Can they eject these guys? Will they do this?
Buddy, that came from the security guard.
Yeah. Yeah, that Philly crowd was lubed up on Blue Moon, so I'll tell you that right now. Because even under the bright lights of the playoffs, Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is the beer that's made brighter. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark for baseball fans. First brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. From its bold, refreshing flavor to its beautiful bright color, Blue Moon is as iconic as America's pastime. Dallas, do you have any Blue Moons to watch the NLCS tonight?
I did not have any Blue Moons. I did not. I was actually I was at soccer practice with my iPad out there watching the game.
Soccer
at the start.
practice?
Yeah, dude. I'm a dad, dude. I'm a fucking dad.
Oh, were you like your kids were playing? You weren't playing?
The fuck you think, buddy?
That's why I was surprised.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah. I thought Dallas was the goalie, man.
Yeah, I was like, Dallas was out there running circles around these kids.
Buddy, fucking striker. I got striker DNA in me, pal.
you don't.
Striker.
No, you don't.
You're like that Colombian goalie.
So you're trying to
DNL Braden is what they call me, not Lionel Messi. DNL Messi. Yep.
With its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball, so it's the perfect match for the playoffs. The crack of the beer, the pour, the first sip of that bold flavor, Blue Moon always feels like a special occasion, best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful bright color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all through the playoffs. Brighten up the baseball playoffs with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's a one-of-a-kind every time. Check out shop.bluemoonbrewingcompany.com for fresh baseball merch and visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/rocket to find Blue Moon delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/rocket. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale. I feel like in the last couple of years, like my balls dropped a little bit more. I went back and listened to our Bryce Harper interview, or like parts of it. And I was talking about this with Jake too, and other like old like Section 10 clips. Like I sound like a child. Like my voice is deepened. Have you noticed that, Dallas? From
you got rid of the
8 years of podcasting.
Congratulations.
The fake accent you got rid of.
If I'm being honest, the last 3 intros, you have caught me by surprise with the high pitched.
I can get high with my, obviously you've heard me sing a few times now. I think were you not surprised that I have pipes like that? I can hit the high notes.
Oh, I knew you could blow. I just didn't. I just don't have you. You know what it is what? I've listened to you every day. I've listened to you every day. I hear
you're too close.
So I don't notice it.
Yeah, you're too close to it. Yeah, I Gotcha.
But congratulations, man. That's got to be fun.
You're gonna congratulate me again?
You're gonna sound like Jim Leland in a couple of years, man. Just Red Sox.
You're gonna congratulate me again, Dallas?
For
Cowboy.
I mean, are you gonna fucking congratulate me a second time, Dallas?
I picked the Rangers as well.
Dallas,
I picked the Rangers.
Are you gonna congratulate me again?
Cowboy.
No, I'm not.
Why?
Because there's a lot of meat on the bone. That's why.
Are you telling me that there's a lot of series left? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, look, there's still baseball left. It's early.
Cowboy.
Spare me, Dallas Braden.
Cowboy.
It's getting late.
It's getting late early. And to have any other take than the Texas Rangers are going to take this series still in Texas. You can't really say back to Texas. I wouldn't want to be the Astros right now. I wouldn't want to. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but did I see somewhere that no team has ever won a series after an LCS after losing the first 2 games at home? Did I see that somewhere? I think I saw that somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, really? If that's not true, I don't care. Because, I mean, I'm calling it. Series fucking over anyway. I mean, these boys, they didn't want to believe. I mean, I guess I can say us, Dallas. They didn't want to believe us. I mean, I know that you kind of jumped on the bandwagon when it got cool, but, I mean, I've been riding with these Rangers since about mid-May. I mean, the vibes are impeccable right now. I think people are finally starting to see it. I think people are finally starting to see why the Texas Rangers are the team to beat in the American League. And I'm just gonna say it right now because I don't want it to come as a surprise if and when it happens. If it ends up being Phil's Rangers, that's probably where my ride stops. It is. I mean, I already said it. I went on Pardon My Take last week, and before any LCS games were played and they asked me for a World Series prediction, I said Phillies over Rangers. So I'm just going to be honest and upfront that if it comes down to that's going to be my pick. But for right now, because all the love right now is going to the Phillies, and rightfully so, we just laid out an entire spreadsheet worth of information on why the Phillies are so likable and why people are so drawn to them. But the Texas Rangers are a team right now that are just as hot. They appear to be just as unbeatable, but I think when you watch Phillies games in the postseason and you watch Rangers games in the postseason, you can still see some Achilles heels rearing their heads in these games that they're still winning. Like that game against the Orioles where they're up big. Jordan Montgomery has a shit start, but they win it like 11-8. It's like, yeah, they still gave up 8 runs. And then you've got Chapman. It's like, that's supposed to be your big bullpen piece. He's given up bombs to Yordan Alvarez. So they've had issues along the way. They just haven't cost themselves any games yet with those Achilles heels. So I think ultimately still riding with the Rangers the whole way until the World Series, because I think that those Achilles heels, those will be exposed by the Phillies if and when that becomes the matchup. Fair or unfair?
I think I'll say what's a little unfair is that the way the Phillies have been winning these games is a lot different than the Rangers, which you kind of said. But I wouldn't say they're as hot. Like these 2 first games could have gone the Astros' way pretty easily. There's some moments there.
The bullpen in game 2.
Yeah, and not the bullpen. In the first game, the Astros had bases loaded. Was it Eovaldi pitching? Got out of it twice.
No, that was game 2.
No, but game 1, man. Game 1, they had the bases loaded with Altuve, and they had Maldonado, and got no runs.
They let Maldonado hit. Dusty did not pinch hit for Maldonado. They let Maldi hit, and then game 2, Yanier Diaz hit for Maldonado.
Yeah, so it happened both games. Bases loaded, and Astros could not cash in.
Well, Nate's got big old nuts. Him having the bases loaded in that spot, punching out 2, getting the grounder to end it. Nate's built for October. Now, I think we last recorded before the rosters were announced, so we didn't have the information that Max Scherzer was on the roster. He's your game 3 starter. He is your game 3 starter for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, you can thank the starting pitching for that. Giving Max the ball up 2-0, ready to take whatever you can get from him, because you'd love to be in that position and his hopefully 3 innings, maybe 4 if you're lucky. I mean, originally I said, look, if you can get 5 innings out of Max Scherzer, that is possibly the biggest W you get all series long if you do in fact make it to the World Series. Simply, like, winning a game that Max Scherzer starts, that he gives you 12 outs, maybe even 15, like you did not see that coming, especially with the injury that he sustained. So for him to be in a spot, and look, get excited about it, don't get excited about it, 68 pitches in his last sim game. So what you think you're going to get? I don't know. He hasn't been on a game mound since the middle of September. So sim game be damned, bullpens be damned, doesn't matter. And he's going to be stepping right into postseason baseball. And that very well could be what the Astros need to get themselves back on track.
Well, is there a guy in your mind that you feel is better prepped? A pitcher remaining in the postseason that you feel is better prepped to just enter the postseason in the ALCS?
That's built in the game. I mean, I think you would just probably start to go down the list of guys with, ridiculous stuff. Like, I mean, I would have no problem tabbing even how things have gone, tabbing a guy like Spencer Strider. Like, okay, man, you haven't pitched in a month, but I'm going to get what I think I'm going to get out of you in a game situation. Yeah, like I've got no problem handing a guy like him the ball.
Yeah.
A guy like Garrett
I'm just
Cole.
talking about like the experience, the pedigree, the mindset of the individual. Like, I don't think Mad Max.
I'm just talking about no, for sure. And that's one of the reasons why it's a decision. I don't want to say it's an easy decision, but that's one of the things that lends you to making that decision is that's probably not a question you're asking, right? What are we going to get out of Max in terms of his reaction to not being on the mound in a month or so? And then the first time he's back, that being in a playoff atmosphere, you're not worried about what you're going to get out of Scherzer in that regard. It's just quite literally, all right, after the adrenaline pump and the adrenaline dump and things start to settle off and he's got his resting heart rate and he's up and down now, how many times is he able to do that under those circumstances? That's it. How's he performing? How's the arm physically bouncing back after a postseason adrenaline pump and dump?
Joe, what do you think we're going to get from Max Scherzer in Game 3?
I think it's going to be a short leash. Probably not going to pitch they're probably not expecting him to go for more than 5. If he gives up a lot of hits and stuff early, they're going to take him out early. And it pitched a lot, and he's probably not at
5 would be magical. Like if I got 5 from Max Scherzer, I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah. He's not really warmed up, a little banged up, probably not at 100%, but it is Scherzer, so he's going to try his fucking best.
Yeah, I think that they're just going to try. I mean, not that this isn't the approach anytime that you're in a playoff game, but I just think that the approach is going to be to jump him early. Like if he's trying to like locate the fastball just to throw some strikes here, I feel like the plan is to jump him early if you're Houston. But
yeah, it's weird to say it, but yeah, like Scherzer coming in right now is almost like it's like kind of pitching a 4th, 5th starter.
Yeah. Here's the game plan. You're going to make Max Scherzer land the breaking ball and the off speed multiple times for strikes. You're going to hunt the fastball, and you'll hunt the fastball early. And from there, if he can continue to land his off speed, because that's when we're starting to talk about feel. Okay? The fastball, you feel like you can get out there, let it rip. I can find the plate with that, and I can execute with that. As far as my breaking balls, being where I want them to be and being sharp and crisp and me having the feel for those, if I'm an offense, that's what I'm doing, is I am making you show me that you're comfortable enough. I know you're the old dog, no problem, but this is what I have to do. And if I want to get you out of there sooner than later, well, I've got to be ready to hit something, and that's going to be the fastball. So you throw that for strikes early, I'll be waiting. But if you don't give me that early and you can't throw the breaking ball for strikes consistently, well, now I'm going to grind you out. Now we're going to battle here. Now I think I have to get comfortable hitting with 2 strikes, because if the objective is to get you out of this game and maybe start to expose Dane Dunning or Andrew Heaney a little earlier than you'd like to, well, now the Astros, as I said, Jared, are getting themselves maybe back on track, or starting to get themselves realigned with what they'd like to do offensively.
Yeah. This series ain't over. Like, I think, I didn't ask the panel, but I think, are we all in agreement that the D-backs comeback is highly unlikely at this juncture?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I mean, Houston does still stand a chance in this series. I think it's for the reasons that I mentioned. Like after Montgomery, Eovaldi, is it fair to say it gets a little dicey?
Yeah, well, the Montgomery thing, I mean, he absolutely shoved, right? But the Houston Astros, as far as what they've been able to do against left-handers, that was the reason that I was confident in them going into this series, was just, looking at who they were going to be facing in terms of arms. Like, I didn't have Max Scherzer penciled in, right? I had a guy like Andrew Heaney penciled in. So with that being said, felt like, man, that was probably
Wait a second.
Really
Timeout.
What?
You picked the Astros in 6.
Correct.
Didn't you just say earlier that you picked the Rangers, you fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was screwing with you. Like,
no, you weren't.
I've been on the Astros. No, I knew. Well, all 3 of us. You're the only one that has picked the Rangers. I was not. No, trust me. I've never been committed. This whole conversation was not me spent thinking that I was in favor of the Rangers, or that I had picked the Rangers. Every bit of my argument.
You picked the Rangers last series and just confused yourself, and now you're trying to fucking spin zone this? You didn't pick,
that's what happened.
Did you pick the Rangers over the Orioles?
I've been on the Astros the whole time.
I said did you pick the Rangers over the Orioles?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
So he just confused himself and then tried to just fucking swindle us.
Yeah.
You got to stop smoking weed, sir.
No, I was not under the I was not talking like I felt.
If you were
that I
trying
was
to,
arguing for the
if you were
Rangers.
trying to present your case right now to a court of law with a jury, you would be guilty of lying to all of us that you,
No.
in your mind, in your sane mind, you thought that you picked the Rangers in this.
Yeah,
Jared,
you,
do you remember-
you were on
No,
autopilot. You were getting yelled at, and you were like,
Do you
Jared,
remember me
I
telling
also
you?
picked them because
Yeah.
he yelled at you during
No,
the
I said I
Rangers
picked him.
Orioles
I
series
picked
too.
him. I said I picked
Yeah,
him.
you're
I
like-
picked him.
You're like, Jared,
No,
I don't know
no,
why
listen.
you're yelling at me. I picked the fucking Rangers too. Yeah. What
Do you
do
remember
mean?
the part? Do you remember
What do you
the
mean?
part where I?
I mean, I got.
Are you done?
Jared, why are you yelling at me like it's me against you and the Rangers Astros when I also picked the Rangers? So, anyways, I had Astros in 6.
Do you remember right after I said that? Do you remember asking me? So is the series over? Are you saying it's not over? And what did I say? I said
I don't
no,
remember that.
Jared. Well, I do because
What
I
is
know
it?
what state of mind I was in. I said
No,
to
you don't.
Yeah,
I remember
well,
grinding my feet in Eddie's couch.
The great thing about this being recorded is they'll be able to just go back and listen. I asked you asked
Oh
me.
my God, this is going to be a
I
great
said,
promo video. Oh, yes, I can't wait.
So there's
It's gonna
still
be like-
still a lot
like
of meat on this
the
bone.
little rewind.
There's still a lot of meat on this bone. I said that, which implies me
Shut the
understanding
fuck
that
up,
I had
Dallas!
picked the Astros.
Shut up,
No.
Dallas. Dallas, you can't take Dallas any higher. This guy doesn't even remember what he fucking did yesterday. He is a blind man. Can you take Dallas where blind men can see? Because he can't even see his own fucking picks in this series. Tell me, Scott Stapp. Wow. What a moment, Dallas, for you.
Buddy, I just told you.
You can't
I
lose
just
if you
told
pick every team. You can't lose.
I just told you.
You go undefeated in the playoffs if you just pick every team.
Why would you ask me? Why would you ask me if I thought the series was over when I told you, Jared, there's still meat on this bone? Why would I say that if I thought the Rangers were my team?
This is like
Why would I say that?
Like
No,
those
answer
YouTube,
that. Answer that.
This is like
Can
the
you answer
YouTube
that?
videos.
Can you answer
when
that?
When they
Can you
hand
answer
someone
that?
a lifetime
Can you answer
sentence,
that?
and they start
You can't
screaming
answer
at the judge.
You can't
They're just
answer
carrying
that?
them away. They're like, no,
You can't
don't
answer
do it.
You can't answer it.
Oh, he's losing his
You
mind.
can't answer it? No, I can just say the same thing over like you do and get the same result. Can you answer it or no?
Can you repeat the question?
Why would I tell you
I don't know why you do a
that
lot
there's
of things.
still meat on the bone?
I don't know.
If I'm arguing for a team
Your
or
Honor.
favoring a team who's
Your
up
Honor.
2-0.
Your Honor,
Why
all
would that
I can
make
say
sense?
is that this man sitting across from me in the courtroom today said, Jared, I picked the Rangers too, and then he said I have Astros in 6. That's the only information I have right now.
So hold on. So you can try to tee it up, and then I don't get to have fun with it. I don't get to just tell you like that. Oh, Jared, I picked him. And then you start because you started opening with me, like attacking me. What'd they say, Dallas? What'd they say? And what did I tell you? I picked him. And then once we got into it, I said, Jared, there's still meat on this bone. Defending the Houston Astros. You don't say that defending a team that's up 2-0, Jared. You don't say that defending a team that's up
Your Honor,
2-0.
take this guy away. Yeah, take this guy away. Lock him up.
Jesus, God.
Lock him up.
Clean it up.
Lock him up.
Clean it up.
That's gonna be a great video. I'm very excited to see that. Shout out to Jay.
Editing's great,
Jay
sure.
Dog.
But if you don't listen, I mean,
We
no, that can help too.
The court heard it. The court heard it. Either way, is Brandon Pfaadt pitching game 3 for the D-backs?
Probably. Why? Who else would it be? It's their third guy.
Let's see.
He's their rock.
No. Yeah. Either.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow night, it's Dallas's boy. It's Scherzer Javier. At 8:00 Wednesday night, game 3. Do we think that even though the Rangers have home field, that this matchup favors the Houston Astros?
The whole series or this game?
No. Just this one game.
I
Game
think
3.
it definitely favors the Astros.
Jay,
Them boys can hit.
Jay.
Yeah, my Dallas sold me on the Javier thing last time we talked, and he obviously went out and dealt. And my expectations for Scherzer's contributions are respectfully quite modest. I'm viewing him as like an extended opener as opposed to like a starter on par with like Javier's ability to go 5, 6, 7 innings. Like, I just don't think that's how this is going to play out. I think Scherzer's 2, 3 innings, and we're seeing the Rangers bullpen. And it's obviously a must win for Houston, but I do think on paper they match up pretty well in this game. But I would have said that when we talked about the Framber Valdez game too. Like, that to me, I didn't comment on Astros Rangers, but that to me is the most surprising single player development of this series, is that a guy who's probably going to get some Cy Young votes and who was a massive part of the Astros success last season when they won the World. Like, he had a 1.44 ERA and 4 starts across the postseason last year, including 2 in the World Series. Framber's been terrible in 2 starts, and he's given them no length. Obviously, 2 2/3, 5 runs in game 2. That to me was surprising, but yeah, I would go Astros in game 3.
What is a fair over-under for outs recorded for Max Scherzer in this game?
8.5. Oh, 7.
8.5?
7. No, 7.5.
Feels right.
7.5?
So that's what,
like
2 1/3.
That's a third up and down. And if you're able to get through, I mean, look, it's all going to depend on what those outs look like. What are those outs? Are they dominant? Are those hard hit balls? Right. Like, I mean, and like it or not, this is where you can start to, I mean, the line drives have been line drives since they were hitting with their hands fucking spread apart. All right. A hard hit ball, you can tell.
It's hard to imagine Scherzer not going at least 3 though, you know, like I think
DraftKings has a very different read on this than we do right now. They have the over under for both pitchers set at 12.5.
Oh. Okay, so it sounds like you guys like the under.
Yeah.
Yep. I just thought I'd look. That's interesting to me.
Because that's 5. That's 5 up and downs. That's 5 up and downs is what that is for Max Scherzer. 5 up and downs, and he's thrown a total of 68 pitches max in his most recent simulated outing.
So then wouldn't the next be like, well, what would you say?
75.
Like 80?
You could go 75, 80, right? 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. That gets us through 5 innings if you're executing 15 pitches on average per inning, which is the big league average. So if things went swimmingly, just swimmingly average for Max, and he was able to deliver 15 pitches an inning, unscathed or out of harm's way, allowed to pitch through traffic, 75 pitches, you could squeeze 5 innings out of Max Scherzer, maybe even get him into the 8th, or into the 6th. But that's why I said what you have to watch is, what does the stuff look like after the first inning, the bounce back, because the adrenaline pump of going out there for that first inning, buddy, you don't feel shit. You don't feel a motherfucking thing. And then you get back into the dugout and you take those breaths and you recalibrate and you get ready to attack. You get ready to go out there for inning number 2, right? And you know in your head, I got 7 more of these. This is how I'm pacing myself. So what does that bounce back look like? And ultimately, what does the stuff look like?
So then is this glass half full or is this glass half empty, in that Max Scherzer is facing an Astros lineup that is Yordan Alvarez and not much else in this series? Or is it that this is, Max Scherzer is rusty as fuck and this is the perfect opportunity for the Astros to wake up offensively?
Oh, well, I don't know. They've been sick lately. So we got
fucking Yordan was the sick one, and he hit 2 bombs in game 2.
Dusty said that they all got stomach issues.
Well, it didn't affect Yordan.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, what is the stomach's like now? Like, it's been a couple days, but I'm not going to be the guy to be like, oh, I know Max Scherzer is hurt and he's not 100%, but at least he gets to face the Astros. Woo, dodged a bullet there. The shitty lineup that is.
Last time he faced the Astros was September 6th, and he allowed 3 homers and 7 runs in 3 innings.
That sounds bad.
He only made one more start after that, right? And then he was shelved. So that was leading up to his injury list stint. And now this is going to be his first outing off of the injured list.
Do we know who hit the homers in that game?
Let's see.
Jordan Tucker.
Dubon hit 2.
Jordan hit 1 off of Scherzer. Jose Abreu hit 1 off of Scherzer. And Brantley hit 1 off of Scherzer.
Okay. I mean, Abreu is pretty locked in against Minnesota.
Well, the one thing that the Astros are missing right now is Kyle Tucker.
You see him take his batting gloves off? That was kind of tough. I thought it was tough. Like, oh, nice. Batting gloves are off. But then it didn't work and put them right back on. That's probably not a great sign. I didn't like that, dude. You take them off, you keep them off.
Well, you know what that tells you, Joe? It's like it's something that he's paying maybe even a little more attention than necessary to. Because as of right now, Kyle Tucker this postseason is hitting just 091.
Take them off, Kyle.
The 336 OPS out of Kyle Tucker, not great. Mr. Pena could probably be swinging it a little better as well. You're talking about the the former LCS World Series MVP. Not great. Bregman, 217 this postseason.
Homered, game 2.
Homered, sure.
Homered, game 2.
So close to homering when Altuve didn't touch the bag. Oh, was that him?
Oh, that was man. I can't believe that didn't. Had they already lost their challenge?
What challenge that Altuve didn't pass the bag?
Didn't touch second base on the way back.
Yeah, they called it. I mean, I don't know who challenged it, but they overturned it. That went under review.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Altuve cheated. Got caught red-handed.
Wow. To the three of you, does any single one of you, do you still feel, I don't want to say confident, but that there is a chance that the Astros can still win this series? What is your confidence level in the Astros still winning the series?
Probably like 30%.
I was going to say 40.
40.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, diminished. It's not, yeah, it's not by no means is it 50-50. But yeah, I feel like they're a team where if they just get themselves back on track offensively and remind themselves of what they're capable of, things can turn quickly. I mean, we've watched what a hot team can do. We just watched what the Philadelphia Phillies did in one game. The Phillies have been hot October, but my goodness, man, this is a lineup in the Houston Astros that if these dudes start to string hits together and they start to mount threats offensively, you can look at that lineup as well and go, man, where does the let up come from?
I feel like it's going to be Altuve. They just need someone else to not even match what Jordan's doing. Like, no one's going to do that, but they just need someone to get hot, and I feel like it's probably going to be Altuve. I still think
he doesn't have a knock yet, Jared.
Yeah. But did you see the fucking... I had no idea. Jose Altuve is second all-time in postseason home runs behind Manny Ramirez.
Woo-wee. Little guy.
I mean, I know that he's had some big home runs in the postseason. Never would have guessed that he's second all-time in postseason home runs. I know he's been there a lot every year for the last 7 years. But, I mean, no, because... Did they make it in 16? What was the year that they played in the wild card game against the Yankees and lost? Was that 16? I think it might have been. So he's been there for what, 8 straight years? But yeah, never would have guessed Jose Altuve was second all time in postseason home runs. I think if anyone's going to join Jordan and get hot, with the series now going on the road, I got my eyes on Altuve. Joey, what was your percentage on whether or not you think the Astros can come back in the series?
43%.
43. This is crazy. Like, these are some crazy numbers.
It's a must-win game for the Astros, but if they win tomorrow, I like the way they look.
I think that someone's gonna have to show something to me. It's about how they win. If they win 2-1 and it's a 2-run home run by Jordan in the 8th inning, are you still feeling good about them moving forward? And no one else is doing dick.
Well, why was it 2-1? Was it 2-1 because Max Scherzer gave us 5? Was it 2-1 because Max Scherzer gave us 4 and he was sparkling and the bullpen came in and shut shit down and punched out 10 more? Or were there balls in play and the Astros just seemingly once again could not, maybe a combination of catch a break or mount any offense where they line the balls out at a couple guys? So to your point about what does it look like? What does it look like? If they get dominated and it's a close game, but their bullpen holds water and they get the big hit, I mean, there's a lot of momentum that gets built from a win like that because you just need somebody to get that big knock. Like you've just been talking about Altuve being a guy that gets hot. Think about his aggression and what I've said about Max Scherzer and needing to come and establish early. If Altuve jumps on a fastball early, makes it 1-0 early, kind of like a Schwarber bomb, after not gathering a hit all series, that could very well be something that ignites that offense.
Yeah, Brantley quietly having a good series.
Well, his dad's cheer. See that clip?
His dad's giving him.
That was kind of weird. I thought that was kind of weird. I thought that was kind of weird.
Why is that weird?
It's just like
what?
Well, I mean, he's not listening to him. He's like, yeah, I'll let you feel like you're contributing. But it's like Michael Brantley's a professional hitter. Like I saw like the clip, like his dad is watching him take BP, and then like they cut to his dad, and he was like, you gotta close that shoulder.
He was coaching him.
Oh, yeah, he's coaching him. But it's like, is he really? He
looked mad. He looked like mad at him. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's hitting what? He's got an OPS over 1,000 in this year at 350.
He's good.
Are these numbers in like the MLB box score? Is that for the postseason or for just this series?
For the box score?
Yeah,
I don't
know if it's for the postseason or if it's for.
I mean, I don't know what you're looking at. Are you just going to the game box score? I got to believe that's for this series.
Yeah, that's probably it too. Yeah. But yeah, Brantley 357 with a 1081 OPS. My guy fucking Chaz hitting 316, but a 632 OPS, which seems almost impossible. But
what, this series?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
in the postseason, yeah, in the LCS. No, McCormick is hitting 250.
Oh, so then this is for the whole postseason then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Stros aren't dead. I think that anyone that feels that way is very misinformed and misguided. I threw that tweet out there. You know, it's very hard to get an accurate read because obviously everyone hates the Astros and there are people voting that aren't actually Astros fans. But I said, Astros fans, how are we feeling? And the options were cooked, Stros in 6, Stros in 7. And it was 72% were cooked, Stros in 6, 10%, Stros in 7 was 18%. But I mean, you know that Astros haters were voting on that poll. So I don't know how accurate that actually was. But the other poll that I threw out there that I thought was interesting, it got over 25,000 votes. What World Series matchup do you want to see the most? Phillies Astros, Phillies Rangers, D-backs Astros, D-backs Rangers. This was before the LCS started. What matchup do you think was voted the most?
People want the most?
Before an LCS game was played. What matchup do people want the most?
Texas versus Phillies. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Dallas?
I was going to say Phillies, Texas.
Jay Hay?
Phillies, Texas.
That's correct. 39% voted for Phillies Rangers. Second, I mean, these other two are close. Phillies Astros, the rematch, was 28%. D-backs Rangers was 27%. And nobody wants to see D-backs Astros. That was 6%.
Nobody wants to see the snakes, man. Damn.
I mean, D-backs Rangers was 27%. Phillies Astros was 28%. So it was basically Phillies Rangers, and then it was 2A and 2B, and then no one gave a fuck about D-backs Astros. So there you go. Phillies Rangers is what people wanted before the ALCS started, or the LCS started, and now you've got both the Phillies and the Rangers up 2-0. But hold the phone on that Astros Rangers series, because I think the Astros, they're going to have a little something to say about this before it is decided. I'm going to ask you guys, now that it is 2-0 Texas, make your new prediction now. Dallas, yours can still hit. The Astros have to win 4 straight. Jay, you had Stros in 7. Joey, you busted at Stros in 5. I have Rangers in 6. How do you see it? What would your prediction be now that it is Rangers 2-0 with Scherzer and Javier in game 3?
I'm only gonna guess if I get to if this changes the pick on the score sheet.
No.
Then I'm not gonna pick.
All right, yeah, all right, fine.
I'm picking.
All right, fine, we'll change it.
I'll go in Astros in 7, baby.
Astros in 7. Okay. Dallas?
No, I'm still going to ride mine. Just if I'm still in play, which I am.
You think this is like genuinely what you think. This is not like a bet. This is like how you, with your baseball mind, see it playing out.
They're going to absolutely need to win the next 2 games, in my opinion, to keep momentum swinging their direction. Now, whether or not they're able to get through a game 6, which would probably see fucking Nasty Nate back on the dit. Yeah, I could say Stros in 7. I could see that playing out.
Jay, do you feel like Stros in 7 is what you believe will be the outcome here?
I mean, if I had to bet my my life on it, I would probably switch to the Rangers because they're up 2-0 in the series, and I'm not an idiot.
Right. Naturally.
But I don't feel terribly about Astros in 7 right now. I still feel like that's very much in play. But if I had to, I guess I would go at this point. I guess I would switch to Rangers in 7.
In 7
because they have 2 wins.
Yeah, I think. Well, if you could switch, you go maybe Rangers in 6. I don't know that it gets beyond that, because, like I said, if it's Eovaldi back on the bump, man, it's Nate in October.
Nate Tober, baby. There's a subscription for everything these days, from artisan jerky to all those streaming subscriptions. It feels like we've lost their real value, saving time and money. Subscriptions only really make sense for you if you use it all the time on the same cadence, like razor blades. With Harry's, you get high quality German engineered blades right to your door. Every order saves you money compared to the big brands that most guys are used to buying. Get them as low as $2 per blade at harrys.com/Jared. I'm super lazy. I don't like going out and having to buy my razors at Target or wherever my mom buys them from. I love the fact that they just show right up to my door, and I also love the savings that comes along with Harry's. The trial set, it's a $13 value for just $3 at harrys.com/Jared. It includes a 5-blade German engineered razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. Scheduled delivery for refills as low as $2, which is half of what you would pay for some other blades. Creams, washes, and lotions that will keep your skin healthy and hydrated. Blades made in their own factory in Germany that stay sharp. Guys who have tried it say that their 8th shave is as sharp as their first. Sleek, weighted handles that look great in your bathroom and give you precise control with each swipe. Harry's has the highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry, and they're still offering a no-risk trial. Don't like your shave? Don't worry about it. It's on them. You can cancel your subscription at any time. Get a subscription that saves you time and money with Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/Jared. That is harrys.com/Jared for a $3 trial set. Okay. Any other thoughts on the ALCS, NLCS before we move on to our final topic?
I just want to wish the Astros good health, and I hope that their stomachs get better, because that's just not, some things are. That's we just want to finish postseason. Everybody's healthy.
Mm-hmm. Dallas?
No, I just Jared, I hope these guys understand, like Jay and Joe, what our Texas Rangers are getting ready to do here.
Cowboy.
I picked them too, man. It's my boys. I've been on the Rangers for a couple months now. I feel like since maybe April, I think.
No, I do this because of Max's injury and knowing what my arm felt like when that was just one of the many things that was fucking ripped to shreds in my shoulder. All the credit to this Bulldog to getting himself to a spot where he can even take the baseball and confidently talk himself onto the postseason roster. I know it's probably a little easier said with a 2-0 lead, knowing that they're not absolutely banking on 7-8 strong out of you. They'll take the 9, maybe 12 outs they can squeeze out of you. But again, just to be able to serve that purpose for his team is a huge injection of momentum for them. But it also provides that opportunity, just that window for the Houston Astros to jump on a guy who hasn't been in a game in a month, maybe month and a half, and is going to be doing so for the first time in Game 3 of the LCS.
What do you think he's gonna? What do you think he's gonna be taking, like painkiller wise? What's the regimen?
Toradol.
Yeah, Toradol, the T train.
The T train.
So will there be any telltale signs of how he's reacting to it? What should we be looking for?
No, that's Joey. Honestly, that's why I said, what does the bounce back look like after the adrenaline pump and dump? Because after, I'm going to tell you right now, there are a few things greater in life than the Toradol flush. When that T hits, oh, buddy, like you're like, yep, here comes fucking 87 firm. That was what is in my head. Max is probably 97. So you feel great. You feel unbelievable. Anything that was hurting before, it's just not so much right now. Tomorrow, we can talk about tomorrow. But let's talk about right now. I feel fucking great.
I'm gonna take. I have thoughts for the Astros' stomachs, and also I have thoughts for his liver, because it's probably gonna be just as bad.
Yeah, well, you just drop a little milk thistle in there. That helps flush things out and be good to go.
I'm familiar.
Yep. Oh, really, Jared?
I vitamin. They sell at the vitamin shop.
Yeah, no, for sure. Vitamins, bro. It's fucking vitamins. What are you talking about? What are you saying?
For those pussies out there who don't know, you're supposed to take milk thistle when you take steroids because it cleans your liver. But
just a little flush.
Despicable.
It's the old me. Jay, any final thoughts on the LCSs before we move on?
No.
Okay.
It was.
By the way, whenever you put your mic wherever it is, there's like a hissing sound, and it sounds.
Oh,
good
sorry,
when
I
you
won't
pick it
do
up.
that.
Is it near like your phone or a computer or something?
It's near my computer.
Okay, yeah, that's probably it.
Usually have it on mute, but we'll double check that.
Okay.
Fire somebody.
Yeah, someone has to get fired for that. Also, speaking of the LCSs, shout out to Game Time. It's what we use to get our tickets in Atlanta to go to the Division Series for Phil's Braves. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying your tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets to all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you with killer last-minute deals on all-in prices. Views from your seat with their best price guarantee. Game Time takes all the guesswork out of buying tickets. By the way, I know that no one's thinking about it right now, but the holiday season is coming, and I just want to say, just in case Game Time is still with us or not with us by that point, that's been my thing for like the last few years, is instead of like buying presents for your loved ones or your significant other that they're just going to like stuff in a drawer somewhere or just never use and it's just waste of money, I've been buying my family experiences like this: concerts, theater, going to different sports games. That's what I've been doing. I've been giving the gift of Game Time. But it is the postseason, so you're probably going to want to use that before the holidays arrive. Just saying. See the view from your seat before you... What?
I was going to say, didn't you buy Darius Rucker tickets to the Ellen Show?
I'm sorry? Did you try to say, did I buy Ellen tickets to the Darius Rucker show?
No, it was. We actually had a text exchange. If you go back to our group chat long ago, when you're like, yeah, I gotta get Darius Rucker tickets for Ellen,
Yeah,
and I was like, really? You're getting Darius Rucker tickets for the Ellen show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Darius Rucker. Who was the other fucking? It was like a.
No, and then me and you got your sister. You got your sister a couple tickets. Sorry, a couple tickets to another nice concert.
I got her an IOU for Bruins tickets
to the Bees game
on the glass, and then she said, "What about playoff tickets instead?" And I was like, "All right." And then so I wasn't gonna get her first round. I was like, "This is the best NHL team of all time." I was like, "So I'm not gonna get you the first round. Like, we'll wait until like later on." And then they got eliminated in the first round. So I still haven't given my sister the last Christmas present because the Bruins fucking choked in the first round. It's not my fault.
That sucks.
Yeah. So now I got to get her like tickets
get her,
on the glass.
Get her a trip to Cabo or something.
No,
we could use. Or that she could use. That she would use. That just her and another friend would use.
See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show the total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without the hidden fees. Buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour before it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you can pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means that you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use the promo code Jared, Jared, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use the promo code Jared for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. If you consume our podcast via Spotify, iTunes, some sort of audio format, I suggest that you pause and switch over to YouTube for this second, as you will probably not want to miss the facial expressions. The Dallas Braden will do his best to not react to the speech that Trevor May, by the way, congratulations to Trevor May on his retirement. What was it? 9 big league seasons, something like that. It was made stops with the Twins, the A's, the Mets. But he called it a career after, I mean, listen, you play one season in Oakland, you're like, fuck this. I'm done. Trevor May calling it a career. He announced it on his Twitch stream, which made some headlines because he went all in on the Oakland A's, Dallas. And I'd love to get your thoughts on what he said.
And I just want to know, now that it's official, to the A's organization and every single person part of it, I love all of you. Every single one of you except for one guy. We all know who that guy is. Sell the team, dude. I tried to get a sell shirt. It didn't get here fast enough. Sell it, man. Let someone who actually like takes pride in the things they own something. There's actually people who give a shit about the game. Let them do it. Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else, dork.
Dork.
And also, if you're gonna just be a greedy fuck, own it. There's nothing weaker than being afraid of cameras. So that's one thing I really struggled with this year, was not just eviscerating that guy. Do what you're gonna do, bro. You're whatever. You're a billionaire. They exist. You guys have all this power. You shouldn't have any because you haven't earned any of it. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. Reality is you got handed everything you have, and now you're too soft to sit and stand in front or take any responsibility for anything you're doing. Yeah, whatever. Oakland is Oakland. You can make all the cases. It's not a great city. Blah, 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 blah. But you're putting hundreds, if not thousands, of people out of work that have worked somewhere for decades, and you haven't acknowledged that at all. So, just be better. That's all we're asking. Just be a human being.
Dallas, your thoughts on what Trevor May had to say?
Hold on. I had a page open that had a commercial playing. Well, I'll start with from a strictly a player perspective, retiring and leaving a turbulent, tumultuous situation. You can label it with whatever team you would like, whatever sport you would like. I can just give you a perspective from a former player. If your relationship, or maybe lack of, with people within the organization is one that you don't hold in a high regard, whatever, I can understand the desire to light the fire, if you will. I one of the great things about this season for me was getting to know Trevor and getting to talk to Trevor, and especially during the time, where he went on the he went on the injured list, just dealing with some, with some personal stuff, working through some things on his own, and so he's been somebody who has tried to gather perspective all along the way, and you could kind of hear it in his response. Some of the things that he battled were probably some of the emotion he was feeling surrounding what undoubtedly was an extremely difficult situation for A's players for a number of reasons. So is it crazy to think that any player who just isn't feeling it with wherever they're at might want to say, look, I'm done. I'm all good here with the game. It's chewed me up, which, I mean, when you look at Trevor May's numbers, that's not really the case. Trevor May is hanging him up, really, after having probably his second best season in the big leagues. Statistically, maybe. I don't know. But, I mean, it's obviously a tough spot for me. Like, understanding what role I serve and my connection to the organization. The one thing I always say, and Trevor said it when he acknowledged the people in the organization that he has worked with, probably coaches, clubhouse staff, things like that. And especially, the concessions and the ushers, the security guards. Those are the relationships that matter. And so for Trevor to feel the way he did, it makes me happy that he felt as strongly as he did in regards to his relationships with those employees. But I mean, as far as him saying what he said about the ownership group and like, look, man, what can I say about that? I understand players are going to have their personal opinions. I mean, as an employee, I understand my relationship my situation is very different than Trevor's. Very different than those players. And so for Trevor to voice his opinion and say what he said, I know it's appreciated by a lot of people, not just his specific opinion about a specific topic, but I think in general, fans have always wanted to hear opinions from the players, heartfelt, raw opinions. And this one, obviously, very raw.
What feedback have you heard from other people? I mean, you don't have to name names, but like, how has it been received in like the A's circle?
Like A's fans, A's employees,
Whoever.
A's. What do you got?
Whoever.
Like if I'm being totally honest, it's honestly something, Jared, that I don't pay a ton of attention to because it doesn't serve me well because I can't do anything about it one way or the other. I can't really have a negative impact. I can't really have a positive impact because there's nothing. I'm not in any room or having any conversation that's going to matter. And that's why the only thing that I can do is continue to be a presence for the fans that are committed to the players on the field, for the fans that are committed to the existence of the franchise in the community as it stands today. All I can do is show up and show them how much I love this game of baseball and how much I'm riding for these guys just like they are. That's all I can do. And it doesn't serve me well, really, to voice an opinion outside of that. It doesn't. Trevor May and myself are in two very different positions.
Yeah. Joseph is someone who makes baseball content and does deep dives, especially on stuff like this. What was your takeaway from what Trevor May had to say?
Shocker. I don't know. I just does it surprise anyone that someone in the A's doesn't like the owner or anyone doesn't like the owner? This is the guy that everyone doesn't like. The only guy that likes him is big old Robbie Manfred. This is the most hated guy in Oakland. Maybe in MLB right now. I wouldn't say MLB, but definitely Oakland. I bet Trevor May never talked to the guy. But if you're leaving the team, might as well say fuck John Fisher. You get on the boat. Everybody hates him. I don't know if he thought it was going to be that controversial of a statement. Is it really a controversial statement?
I don't think it's a controversial statement, but I mean, you can't obviously say that as an active player.
Yeah, but it ain't surprising.
No. Especially if you've played there. I'm sure the players that never even played for the A's feel that way. I'm sure that there are active players right now or former big leaguers that never played a game for the Oakland A's that feel exactly how Trevor May felt when he said that. So maybe we can get him on again. It's been a while. He has a great. I said that he's got a great radio voice when he came on. I mean that I don't even think that was Baseball is Dead. That was Starting Nine.
No, and that's the thing. And just to put a cap on Trev and his retirement announcement and everything, he jokingly, I believe jokingly, I don't think it's a joke. This dude is signing up to play in the Whiffle Ball League. Oh yeah,
there's a Whiffle Ball League.
Oh, there's a Whiffle Ball.
Where is there a Whiffle Ball League?
There's Jared. I mean, back at the old spot, I was in talks to buy a Whiffle Ball team.
Dallas, where the fuck is there a Whiffle Ball League where someone could buy the team and become an owner? And why did you never tell me about this?
Well, for very good reasons, because of where we were at the time.
Because you weren't on the team, dude. You didn't want to be on the team.
Literally, I'm probably the best Whiffle Ball player in the world, bar none. Also, I feel like I even forgot that this happened. I'm just now remembering it. It was just buried in the back of my brain somewhere. But there was a point in time in late 2017, maybe early 2018, where I was legitimately going to move down the street from Dallas. I'm pretty sure it was it was probably around March of 2018 because I remember like talking to Dallas about it. I was dead serious about doing it. I talked to Dave about it, and I was going home for Easter to talk to my family about it. But then Dave blurted it out on Barstool Radio before I could talk to my family about it. So they fucking went ballistic.
They lost it.
Because they were like, how could you ask your boss before you talk to us? And I was like, that's not the correct order. Like, why would I bring that up to you guys before I knew officially that it could happen first? Like, that's the wrong order. Be mad at Dave for being an idiot and saying it on the radio. But then it kind of like fell apart. And honestly, thank God that it did, because that was 2018. Like, imagine if I was in California for the 2018 Red Sox season. Like, holy fuck. That would have been a big misstep, I would say. But I was so unhappy in New York, but I had just moved there. So I was like, I can't make a whole big thing about moving to New York and then go right back to Saugus within less than a year. I can't do that. But to get out of New York, I can move to California and be like, oh, I'm going to be closer to Dallas. We can record the show together. So it's like a pivot to make the show better. But really, I just did not I hated New York that much. But
understandable.
Yeah. But I mean, if I moved to California, then we could have fucking done this wiffle ball league.
Yeah. Yes.
Where is it?
They have there's multiple leagues. So they got wiffle ball leagues all over the place, dude. All over the place. The one that I was talking about was
not on a team.
Was in I think is in Indiana.
I can't get to Indiana.
Yeah, well, I mean that was also something that made it tough, is because the schedule was like, yeah, it's like the summer, July, August, and I'm like, kind of busy. I got some shit I got to take care of during the week, and then again on the weekend, and then really every day from the end of March till fucking October.
Imagine telling like Meg and the kids, like, yeah, daddy's gotta go for the summer. I gotta post up in Indiana to play in this wiffle ball league, but I'll be back. Yeah. I'll be back in November though, easily.
Wiffle ball barnstorm.
Yeah, just living in the barracks in Indiana till wiffle ball season's over.
Just out back throwing bullpens to my fucking blitzball strike zone.
Yeah, making $50 a week.
Jared, I would pay to let me play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if there was a wiffle ball league around here, I would play in it if I had the time.
And if there was a junior division that you can legally join.
Please. Fucking struck out Alex Bregman. What's he doing right now? Oh, yeah, he's in the Major League playoffs. You fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Now's a fine time.
You ever heard of the Astros, Dallas? You ever heard of the Houston Astros?
I picked them.
Yeah, Dallas picked them.
Yeah, they're in the American League Championship Series right now. They have a third baseman that just hit a home run in the last game that they played. Yeah, I threw a wiffle ball past him. Yeah, he statistically was the second best offensive player in Major League Baseball that year. He was second in MLB that year in offensive WAR, and I struck him out. So
the year he hit the ball into free parking.
Oh yeah. You're only gonna pitch against little kids. You can't pitch against second best offensive player on planet Earth. Have you ever heard of Earth before? You ever been there?
He hit a fucking wiffle ball 7,000 feet.
That was a prank.
Dallas took Earth to win too.
All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back. When are we going to be back, Jake?
After Game 5, so that's going to be Saturday.
After Game 5. Saturday. All right. We'll catch you then.
Wow.